Hello, it's Robert Miner with Dynamic Traders Group with a short video for our YouTube subscribers and Twitter followers. I missed doing one last week, really busy, did a little bit of traveling, but we're back. We try to do one of these each week. It's a shortened version of what we do for our DT Report subscribers. I'm going to take a look at a couple of markets this week that are real popular with these videos, ones that a lot of people follow. That's going to be the S&P and Bitcoin. So, let's get started, and keep in mind that even if you don't trade these markets, what you'll learn in these videos you can apply to other markets and other time frames. So let's take a look at the current position and potentially what's coming up over the next week for the S&P and for Bitcoin. Well, this is the weekly SPX, and it's just the closing data, the weekly closes. There's really just one key piece of information on this chart, the most important takeaway, and that is the momentum cycle is bearish. It's not oversold. It's not in a position where a weekly low is usually made. So more than likely, based on the weekly momentum cycle, the S&P is going to be sideways to down for another 2, even 3 weeks. So that's an important piece of information to have. So let's go to the daily data, and here's where things get really interesting. It's coming off of the June low is that the advance, you see I have it labeled Elliott wave-wise as a wave 3 or a wave C. Well, as of this point in time, more than likely this is a completed ABC correction. So if that's the case, what does that mean? What happens when a correction is complete? Well, when a correction is complete, a market continues to trend in the direction prior to the correction to a new extreme. In other words, if this is a completed ABC correction, then eventually the S&P should continue to decline to below the June low. Now that's real significant. That's a significant piece of information to have. However, it hasn't been confirmed that this is a completed ABC. So the next thing we do is we identify what confirms it as a completed ABC correction. Well, right now, it's really close to that confirmation level, and that would be a close below 39.1174. Why? That would be a close below the closing extreme of what I have labeled as a wave 1 or A. So it's real simple. If the SPX closes below 39.1174, it confirms that this advance off the June low is a correction, and that eventually the S&P should then continue to decline to below the June low. Now that's information, if it's triggered, that you can use to make a specific trade strategy from. What's another piece of important information and this, by the way, I'm recording this Friday afternoon on the 2nd, about 1:15 in the afternoon. So there's still some trading going on. This is the daily data, and of course this is Friday's bar. It's not quite complete yet. We've got a couple more hours or so, 2 or 3 hours of trading left in the day. So back to what would invalidate this as a bear trend? Well, a close above 41.2873. If the S&P should close above that level without having closed below 39.1174, that would indicate that this decline was a correction. We call that a closing overlap, and that it should not be an impulsive decline, and eventually the S&P should continue to advance to a new high. Now, those are two really important pieces of information for you to have, and the SPX is going to do one of the two. The evidence suggests that it's going to close below 39.1174 without having closed above 41.2873. The daily momentums, we're going to start at the bottom of the chart. Daily momentums are bullish from the oversold zone, and it's a double bottom on the momentum cycle, and fairly significant. Usually means that we've completed a daily low. Now, a daily low just means that a market could then be sideways to up for 3 or 4 days or so. And if the market voids that as a daily low, in other words, if the SPX should continue lower, well, that's just really bearish. When you have a momentum cycle make a reversal and there's no follow through and the trend continues, that's a real strong signal of where the power is in the market, whether it's buying power, selling power, and whether it's going to continue. But right now, we'd anticipate 2 or 3 days sideways to up, but this would be making a corrective rally within a weekly bear trend that has another 2 or 3 weeks to go. So we had a couple key time factors in the last couple of days, and yesterday and Thursday, the SPX did make, on a price bar, a bullish reversal right within our time zone for a daily low, and it made a bull reversal on the momentum. So more than likely, we're going to be sideways up for 2 or 3 days. Now, should the S&P be sideways up for 2 or 3 days, is that we would then be looking for an opportunity to be on the short side for continuation of the bear trend. So the next daily momentum bear reversal is made and price is not closed above 41.70 or 41.20.73, that will be a specific trade setup on the bear side or using inverse ETFs. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I know if those conditions are met, I'm going to be looking very closely in the next few days to be on a go short strategy or a bear strategy, as long as there's no close above 41.20.73. And if that setup isn't made, but the SPX continues lower and closes below 39.11.74 without making a daily momentum cycle, again, that would be a specific signal to develop a go short or an inverse ETF strategy for a bear market fund. But we know the exact signals to confirm a bear trend are a reversal back to a bull trend, and we have a specific trade strategy for this coming week if those conditions are met. That's what we're looking at the SPX. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. So a quick message before we continue on. If you'd like to get even more updates than these YouTube videos that we do, go to our website at dynamictraders.com, hit on the DT Traders News tab, sign up for a Traders News, and there will be more updates during the week that we provide for our Traders News members. Absolutely no cost, no charge card required, just your email address so we can let you know when we have more updates. Okay, that's it. Let's get back. This is a Bitcoin weekly data. It's data up through yesterday, which is Thursday the 1st, so we got one more day to finish up this last bar in the chart. If you follow these YouTube videos for some time, you'll know that we've been bearish on Bitcoin for some time and continue to be bearish on Bitcoin. That's just in general. How about in specific, where we're at right now and where Bitcoin is likely to be in the next few days to few weeks? Well, this is weekly data, and this is the weekly momentum cycle, which is not yet oversold. Usually reaches oversold before a weekly low is complete. That implies that Bitcoin probably has another 2 to 3 weeks sideways to down before it completes a weekly low. Now, here's one thing you might want to keep in mind, is that the next weekly low in Bitcoin is likely to be what we call a monthly low. In other words, possibly more important than these other weekly lows that we've had over this past year or so. So that's a pretty important piece of information to have, but also to have patience for the market to complete the current cycle. So again, probably sideways to down for another week or two. We've projected for a long time that Bitcoin should eventually continue below the June low, and nothing's changed with that probable projection. And that's based on the pattern, just based on the pattern strategy, and that since the June low, this has been a corrective pattern, and that would mean that when the correction is complete, the bear trend should continue to a new extreme or below the June low. So really pretty simple stuff. Just happened that the recent high was almost exactly 100% of the time and price of this 9-week correction. So this was a 9-week correction, 46.48%, let's just call it 46% advance. This was a 9-week correction, 44% advance. The same number of weeks and within just a couple percentages of the same percentage advance. So what are we looking for potentially on the downside? Well, number one, we don't have Friday's data in here, but take a look down here at the daily momentum. It's just reaching overbought area. That indicates that Bitcoin should be very close to completing a daily high and then continuing the decline. So if you're trading Bitcoin reasonably short term or whatever, you'd be thinking about the short side right around now, the next daily momentum bear reversal, and then likely Bitcoin is to continue eventually again to below the June low. And it's likely to continue that within the next 2 or 3 days. So we're pretty close to rolling over again to the downside, at least more than likely. But here's the number that you should keep in mind, that should Bitcoin continue to decline to a new low as anticipated, notice how I phrase that. I'm not forecasting it will, but more than likely it will based on the technical position, is we would look at around 15,500 as the probable minimum on the downside. And that's quite a ways down from the current level, around 20,000. So if Bitcoin continues down and it gets below 16,000, then we'll be taking a look if it's in a position to complete this bear trend. But until that occurs, more than likely, Bitcoin's going to roll over here in the next day or two and continue lower eventually to below 16,000. Well, that's it for today, my friends. Please stay safe, stay healthy. I'll be back in about a week with another one of our video updates. And always remember, use proper position size for every trade that you take. Very important. That's it for today. Robert Miner over and out. Take care.